Hello YouTube, Helen the Russian here, still here. So driving on December 25th, actual Christmas Day. I started around 11 in the morning, and the reason I started that early because I looked at the apps without even going online, and you know how you can tell, like Lyft is all lit up in pink and Uber was all lit up in yellow and orange, so I could tell it was busy. So I went driving. I have to say, I did well. I drove for about 6 hours, made $100 all up, including tips. So not complaining. But to a point, I think it was somewhat of a preview of what to expect on New Year's Eve for those who are planning to drive on New Year's Eve. There were a lot of people who were somewhat confused, not sure what's going on, and I'll give some specific examples in a minute. And it seemed to me, despite the fact that there are certain areas that were literally lit up in dark pink and dark orange, I was getting ride requests that were longer to get to. Normally when you're on the strip, your ride requests are not that far away. Well, I was getting ride requests that would be anywhere between 6 to 9 minutes. Sometimes one was 11, I think, which is a bit unusual when, those of you who drive here, they know that, not when you're on the strip. Anyhow, about people being confused. Well, for starters, I got a whole lot ride requests to Trump Hotel, which I hardly ever had before. In my 6 months driving for Uber and Lyft, I got maybe 4 ride requests or destinations at the Trump, that's all together, in entire 6 months period. Yesterday, I got 4 of them all in one day. So that's one confusion that happened. This lady, Chinese lady, well, I didn't know she was Chinese. She requested a ride at Trump, so I'm driving, and I was before Sahara because I dropped someone off downtown, so I was making my way backways behind the Stratosphere, like that way, Main Street. So that's where I was going, Commerce, Main Street Commerce, back there to Wyoming. And that's when I got that ride request. So a bit far, considering that the whole area was lit up in pink. I thought it was funny that I get the ride request to go that far. But that's all right. So I took it. I went there. The lady called as I'm turning on the light into the Fashion Drive. She calls. She says, I'm in front of Trump Hotel. I said, I know. I'll be there very shortly. So I pull up, and it's a really pretty young Chinese lady. She gets in. And that was the first time in my experience. She really didn't speak English. So I clicked on that top right corner, those 3 dots to see where destination is, because it spells out the destination. Well, the whole thing was written in Chinese on my app, on my phone. And I'm assuming that's because she's from China, her phone is Chinese, she's using app that's in Chinese. Well, I didn't realize it gives this to us, doesn't translate automatically. So all I could see was a bunch of Chinese lettering and the zip code, which it was numbers. So the only thing I could understand was the zip code. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to follow the navigation. So I'm following the navigation, and it looked to me straight away that it's going to be somewhere in residential area. It was taking me to roughly Jones and beyond Spring Mountain, like beyond Desert Inn, so north of Desert Inn, so Johnson north of Desert Inn. And as I'm making the last turn, according to navigation, because navigation says your destination is like right there, it's a street with residential houses. So I pull up, and it says you have arrived, you know how it does. And I look at her, I go, which house? She goes, no, not here. I go, well, sorry, but app says it's here, and I showed her, I said, because the destination written in Chinese, I actually don't know where you're going. So good on her, she did some quick thinking. So she pulled her phone out, and instead of going to, but she clearly put something wrong, but see, I don't know how it all went wrong, because I'm assuming she's putting everything in Chinese, that's what happened. But she pulls her phone out, and she actually types the destination into Google Maps, not in Uber, into Google Maps. And sure enough, she was going, and she hands me her phone. Although I can't read it, I can follow the line, the navigation line. So I'm following it, and basically I had to go back. And once it started taking me to Spring Mountain, I realized she's going to Chinatown, to a restaurant, which is where she was going. So it ended up okay. But you can see how, and it was a bit of a wasted time, obviously, because I was far off course, and I don't know how it all came to be. Obviously, she put something incorrect, but with her not speaking English, with the thing being written in Chinese, yeah, that was a bit interesting. So that was one thing. And then another two guys, again from Trump Hotel. Again, they were not straight away, but like a little late, I get them from Trump Hotel, and they telling me they did speak English, but they were clearly visiting, and I said, okay, where are we going? And they said Walmart, and I looked at the exact Walmart they wanted on Charleston. I go, that's the particular one you want on Charleston. They go, well, yeah. I said, is it open? Before we even pulled out of the hotel, they go, well, we don't know. I said, look, I'm not sure. It may be closed. In fact, from what I knew, it could be. And they go, well, that's okay. I go, okay, because it's about a 15-minute ride. It's not a short ride. And that area on West Charleston, it's like Charleston, Rainbow, roughly somewhere in there. So I go, okay. So as we're driving, I'm thinking, I better find out. So on my second phone, I looked up that Walmart on Google, and I'm dialing that Walmart, and the phone is ringing. They can hear it because it's on my Bluetooth. And I go, guys, the phone is ringing, no one's answering. It's not a good sign. Well, they just ignored me. Well, guess what? Sure enough, we pull up to the Walmart, empty parking lot, Walmart is shut. I go, okay, look, I know for a fact, and as we were driving, I made every attempt to make it better. That's just the thing. That's why I'm saying it kind of preview of what's going to happen probably on New Year's Eve. And those guys were dead sober too. They were not drunk. So I go, well, we were driving. I said, what is it that you want to buy? And they go, well, food and drink. I go, okay. So we're there sitting in the Walmart parking lot. He goes, okay, well, just take us back to the hotel. I said, I will, but you need to change the destination. See, that's when it got tricky. They were trying to play a little game. They were hoping I'll just take them. I was like, no, you change now, put the new destination in. So he did, and in the meantime, I was offering to take them to Albertsons, which for a fact I knew was open. They're like, no. We go, okay. I said, okay. I'm thinking, you're wasting all this money for nothing. So once we pulled out, I go, look, I know there is Walgreens on Spring Mountain, not far from your hotel, which is open for sure because I dropped off some other passengers before. Would you like to go there? And he goes, okay. And because it was about the same distance, I thought, nah, that's all right. I'll just take them there. No need to change that. So I pull up with them to that Walgreens, and yeah, of course it's open. I knew it was open. And then the guy goes, can you confirm the value? I go, oh, you mean the price? He says, yes. I said, I don't know what your price is. I have no idea what you've been charged for any of this. And I said, all I can do, which I was going to do anyhow, I said, I'm going to end the ride. And so I pulled my phone out, showed it to him, and I flicked end ride, confirm end ride, and rating. And he goes, oh, okay. And so they left. Honestly, I could see, like I said, originally they were trying to get the whole round trip ride, all in one trip, hoping not to get charged probably. And then I had a feeling they might have wanted to play some games. And I was watching really carefully to make sure that ride doesn't disappear, meaning they didn't contact Uber and say something to the effect that they shouldn't be paying for it. But so far it didn't happen, so I'm assuming they figured it's best not to mess with me. And again, the camera, remember I have a dash cam that films inside and out. Yeah, I think that's a good thing to have. And the third thing that again was, I think, a bit of a preview of what might happen on New Year's Eve. These people, I picked them up in Chinatown from a restaurant. Well, for starters, that's another thing. They dropped the pin and it looked like it's in this one restaurant. Well, they were in another restaurant that was on the other side, but that was a separate, you know how Chinatown, they all have those separate little strip mall situated, like you can't get from one to another. So I'm looking for them on this side. It looks like I'm right on the pin. And then they call and come to find out they in this next one. So I had to get back on the road, get there. Before they even got in the car, she goes, oh, could you just please, and that's how I knew about Walgreens, could you just go to Walgreens, we need some water, I'll give you $2 cash. Well, and I wanted, her husband was clearly had hard time walking and whatnot, and I thought, okay, but honestly it wasn't worth $2 because they were going from Chinatown to Delano, and that Walgreens was on the corner of Johnson and Spring Mountain, so way out of the way, the other direction, and then I had to wait for her, not too long, but still, I had to sit and then wait for her to get that water, and then we went to Delano. So, hopefully, this information helps and gives some idea, because I can just honestly, as I was doing it, overall it was alright. I'm not complaining, and it was okay. I did it in the daytime, people were generally alright. Oh yeah, I should mention one other thing. So I get this other ride request, and it's Lyft line, and that one was a bit far out as well, like way out, Sahara. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think, John's, so maybe even Rainbow. It's that Persian restaurant, Habib's, and I know the place. So I pull up, and this guy and a girl, they're just standing in there, kind of ignoring me. And so I parked, and I was like, maybe it's not them. Well, he kind of looks, and he makes a big show. He goes, I said, what's your name? And I verified his name. I said, mate, what are you waiting for? Get in the car. He goes, oh, you don't look like a Lyft driver. And he meant it like in a nice way, but I was like, okay. And the woman goes, well, you parked. I go, yeah, because I don't want to block the traffic. Anyhow, they get in the car, and I always ask when it's pool or line, do you understand what that is? And I'm pretty sure he did. It was him ordering. He goes, no, what? And I explained. He goes, oh my God, so we might be driving all over town. I said, well, not necessarily all over town, but we're going to be picking other people. And in fact, I already had someone added, and that someone was in Chinatown. He goes, oh, okay, well, I go, all right. But I could tell he was trying to be cheap. He didn't necessarily explain to his woman what all that is about. So we go back to Chinatown. I pick up these people. Now, that restaurant I've been to before, I knew exactly how to get there. It's off Shift Drive. It's a very popular Chinese place. Very authentic food, by the way. So, and it's 2 people. So I tell them, I said, you got to scooch. There are going to be 2 more people, one up front and one's going to join you in the back there. So now the Asian people, they knew exactly what Lyft line is. They were fully prepared. They knew where they're going. They called in advance to make sure the place is open. They were going to North Outlet Mall, so they were cool. I like riders like that. They know what's going on. Well, these Persian people, they were going to Hookah Lounge, to Luna, which is right next to Encore. Well, I take them there, like right to it, and you could tell it's closed. But here is the cinch, because it's a Lyft line, you can't alter anything. You can't add the destination. You can't do anything. So unless the 2 of them wanted to go to outlet malls with the Chinese people, that was it. I go, okay, well, it's closed, but this is it. You're right. This is pretty much ending here. And he goes, okay. They didn't really give me an answer, but you could tell I hope the woman cottons on to what he's done and kind of tells him to learn his lesson a bit in the next time. But yeah, another example of what might be happening on New Year's Eve. Anyhow, that was December 25th. Hopefully good information for the future. And now I'm gonna go. I bought myself a tickets for the PIF show. The guy in a dragon suit with little chihuahua at Flamingo. Somebody told me it was really, really cool, and I want to see it, and I like doggies, and I'm really excited about seeing it. So that's why I'm off to tonight, and everybody has a nice evening.